And in your bag, you should have blank pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper. You should have half sheets of paper. You'll have some Xeroxed copies of two-dimensional snowflakes. We'll do that after we work on our three-dimensional one. There's some snowflake stickers. There's glue. There's glitter. We'll use that at the end of the program. And there is a candy cane and a paintbrush in order for you to be able to not get your fingers gluey and just dip in with that little student paintbrush. So I'm going to go very slow. We're going to angle the camera onto my hands. If you're panicked, the snowflake that we're making is three-dimensional and it has 6 parts. So we're going to make the first part, and the first part is going to be repeated 5 times. So if you're struggling the first time, nobody needs to panic. You have extra paper in your bag. We'll just do it again. So we're going to get started. I see Jamie's still trying to connect. I see that she's on. We're going to pick 6 sheets of paper. Okay, I'm going to do all of my sheets in blue, but you can be bold and daring, and I'll show you. You can do different colors and have blue and white, or light blue and dark blue. So what you want to do is to have ready in front of you the 6 sheets that you're going to use for your first three-dimensional snowflake. Your scissors are going to be really important, and Scotch tape. And again, if you'd like, you can take some tape when you have time in between and put little tabs of tape on the edge of your table. So we're going to get started. I'm hoping everybody can see my hands well. And we're going to take 1 piece of paper, clear your workspace so you just have that piece of paper in front of you. And we're going to have the paper in front of us horizontally. And we're going to take the bottom left corner. And what we want to do is bring it up across the top. And we want to create a perfect triangle. So you're going to look over here and make sure that it's not creating a gap. You want it to line up across the top and create a triangle straight across, and then you'll press down with your fingers. So all I've done is take the bottom left corner and bring it to the top and create a triangle. And I have this extra tab of paper here, and that's where our scissors are going to come in handy, and we're going to cut that excess off. Okay? You want to make sawing motions with your scissors and not close your scissors, because when you close them, I have a little tiny tear in the paper. I'm not sure how clear it comes across, but that's due to not sawing. So don't go go like that across the paper, and we'll now have a triangle. And I'm going to take the triangle and have the folded edge down, and I'm going to go from folded edge to folded edge, corner to corner, and create a half a triangle. So first I folded it, trimmed the edge, and now I have this triangle, and I have my thumb on the inside. I am right-handed. If you are left-handed, you'll have your right thumb on the inside. And that's just to give you a point of reference for when we're ready to cut. Does everybody have a triangle folded twice that looks like this? Okay. Not yet? Okay. All right. If you're trying to ask questions or have any issues that you want to discuss, just make sure you unmute your microphone so that we can hear you.
Linda, he's muted.
After we have a triangle,
he has lots. It's because he has lots of questions. We're trying to accumulate them.
Okay, accumulate your questions. We're going to do the next step for everyone who has their triangle folded twice. We want the folded part to be facing towards your chest. And we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut along the longest line of the triangle. We're going to come in approximately 3/4 of an inch to an inch, and we're going to freehand, just very gently saw, but we're not going to cut to the end. We're going to stop about 3/4 of an inch in, so that we'll have a cut like this, and it's got at least a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch helping it hang on. And after we make that cut, We're going to go right beside it, and we're going to do it again. And again, we want to stop about 3/4 of an inch from the end. And we'll do one more, and you want to do your best, just eyeballing, to have them be similar in their thickness. Okay, so I have my triangle, 1, 2, 3, like this. Has everybody made their cuts? Okay, once you're done your cuts, you're going to very gently open up your triangle, press down along the seam to flatten it, and then we're going to press again. Now we're going to start making magic. This is where we get dimensional. We're going to take our 2 center triangles and we're going to loop them in the center. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a tube. You can see the tube here, and I'm just using a piece of Scotch tape on the tube. So what I've created right now is a loop that I taped shut. And that's the center of the 3-dimensional branch of the snowflake. So my finger goes in it. I can wiggle, and it's just one piece of Scotch tape. Okay, so this is the first tube by taking the 2 center triangle pieces and meeting them and taping them. And now here's where we get tricky. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to take the next section. I'm going to have those 2 pieces meet in the center like this. I've created a second tube, and I just use a single piece of tape right on the tube, press it down, and now you can see through on this side. How we doing, folks?
Joe, look at this.
Okay, so
Need to
on one side we have a little tube, and on this side we have a medium-sized tube. This is the second loop. This was our little first loop. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to flip it over again, and we're going to make a third loop over top of where the first loop is. And again, just a piece of tape. So we now have 2 loops on this side, a little loop inside and a bigger loop on the outside. And now for our final loop, we do the same thing. We flip it over. And I'm going to bring this up close to show you. When I flip it, I try and have the 2 triangles meet where the fold is, right here, and then place my tape on top of that. And it doesn't matter which branch. I could put the tape here, I could put the tape here or here. There's 4 places where you could actually tape, but you only need to do 1 tape. And now if you look, we have a 3-dimensional branch for our snowflake. This is just one part, and we're going to repeat this for 5 more times. So you're going to be a pro at the end. Does anybody have any questions? Is there any step that you're having a hard time with? It is a little slow, but I promise you when the magic happens, you'll be like, I'm doing this again. So once I had all of my pieces cut, now all I need to do is keep flipping and taping. And I think this is probably one of the more fun parts because you start to see it come together really nicely. And I had prepared and cut a bunch of tape pieces in advance, and I'm now out of them. So I'm going to have to use my tape dispenser each and every time. But this is my 3rd one completed, and I'm just going to keep going. So the next step is the more complicated step. If you have little people, a grown-up hand is definitely going to come in handy because we're now going to be doing the connecting. If you do not have a stapler, you can do it with Scotch tape. I would say, to be honest with you, this stapler is easy for the connecting, but I'm going to use tape as my sample just for anyone who doesn't have a stapler. So you'll see the process for the tape. Anybody who's going to be using a stapler where I'm connecting with tape, you'll just put your stapler in and snap. Okay? So if you were going to use a stapler, you would connect all of them at once. You would take the tip and you would take branch number 2's tip and line them up, and you would put branch number 3 on top and 4 and 5. Because I'm going to use tape, you have to tape both sides. So I'm going to go like this and put the tape on, wrap it around, get my next piece of tape and do the other side. And this is the first and second branch being connected. So they're connected by Scotch tape. It's wiggly, but they're together. I'm going to take my third one. So you have the point with 1 and 2 taped together, and I'm going to place number 3 right on top like this. You'll need 2 pieces of tape. And you do the left side of the point and the right side of the point like this. Wrap around and wrap around. Again, if you had the stapler, you would lay all 6 pieces on top of each other and just go one staple. But I'm showing the tape method because that's what was included in your bag. And I want to make sure if you don't have a stapler, you're clear on what we're doing. And the tricky thing is you actually have to do both sides with the tape. So you do the left side, and then you take a piece of tape and you do the right side. I've now got 4 of the branches of the snowflake connected. I'm going to take my number 5, match up my point again, just like this. Hold it with one hand, tape one side, go back and tape the other. If you've stapled, you're patiently waiting for the rest of us who are taping. And this is my last one. I now have 5 together. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it right on top, line it up, take my 2 pieces of tape, one on the left and one on the right, and I will have combined all of my pieces of my star into one. Okay? Right now it's like a half a star because we haven't attached, and that's okay. You just want to have all 6 together, and you're either using the tape method that I use where you put tape on each side, or you're laying one on top of the other. Once you have all 6, you just take your stapler and staple through. So this one actually has a staple and the tape, but this is what it's going to look like. And then we're going to very simply go back to tape or the stapler, either will work, and we're going to tape them together. You kind of have to hold 2 bands together like this and put a piece of tape, and I now have 2 connected. I'm going to go work in a circular motion and go around and just tape part of the branch of the snowflake together like this. If you have a stapler, just put your staple in and go like this with the stapler. You hold them together, you take your stapler, slide it over, and do a punch. And now that part was stapled. I'm going to keep using tape just because, again, that's what everybody has with them to work. So I line 2 pieces up, put my tape, fold it over, and now they're attached. And I'm down to just 2 more places that have to be attached. And then at the end, we'll have our 3-dimensional piece. So this is 5 attached, and then I'm bringing it together for the final result, and I'm going to tape that together You'll notice that it kind of does curve in on itself a little bit. Nothing to be worried about. When you sit it down, you can flatten it out more. This is my 6-piece paper star made just using regular 8.5 by 11 paper. You could use a rainbow palette and make rainbow ones. They also could be flowers for the springtime. You could do them in spring colors. This is our 3-dimensional snowflake.